Steve Coates. Talk a little Flyers with us here as the Flyers play tonight, as we told you, Winnipeg. But before I ask you something about this game tonight, Coatesy, if I was to sit down and have a little crabs, a little all-you-can-eat crabs, would you indulge with me, or would you just whistle and wave me away?
I don't eat seafood, Mike.
Oh, my God.
I knew I loved that man for a reason.
You and Thompson both don't eat seafood?
Thompson said he doesn't like seafood? Are you kidding me? Take a look at him. He sees food, he eats it.
Now, are you allergic to it, or you just don't like it?
No, I don't like it. I'll have maybe fish and chips and a tuna salad sandwich. Now, in answer to your original question, would I sit down and eat with you? Sure. If you wanted to eat seafood, I'd eat it, but I wouldn't eat I would have a steak or something more carnivorous.
Yeah, you're more like Thompson than I thought,
God bless
Coach.
you.
You're more like Thompson than I thought. Ah, boy. Can't believe this.
That's a good thing. That's a good thing, Michael.
All right, I like being unique over here. Sports Bash Live, Mike, Pete, and Steve Coates on the line. Coatesy, Flyers tonight against Winnipeg, and some changes here. We'll start off with Shayne Gostisbehere being a healthy scratch tonight. What's the word here? What's the deal?
Well, in looking at it, I'm certainly not surprised at it. I think that when you take a look at the way that the Ghost came back from Team North America in the World Cup, that he just wasn't on his game as much as he had been last year. And I think that's true at both ends of the ice. I think that he's had a lot of giveaways. He's not protecting the puck like he used to. He's taking that extra risk when you get a little bit cocky. I don't want to use the word cocky. Let's say your confidence gets to a point where you think you can do it, and that's just not the way the game's played now. And so I think that this is not a traumatic thing. It sounds like, wow, Shayne Gostisbehere, healthy scratch. This is a healthy situation. This is a good situation because I'll bet you it's never happened to him. It's never happened to him in his pro career. So this is an opportunity for him to sit upstairs outside of his injuries and understand that he's got to do a better job on the ice.
Were you ever a healthy scratch in your career? And if so, what do you learn from being up there?
Yes, I was a healthy scratch more than once, many a time, in fact, more times than I like to remember. But what you do is you're humbled, and you are made aware of the fact that the coach isn't happy with you. It's not like, well, when you get sat out, the coach says to you, you're out, and they say, why did you sit me out? Well, that's not the question here. Why should you be in? That's the question. And usually the answer is, well, hold on, now I understand what I've got to do. And this coach is very accountable. This isn't about just because you're Shayne Gostisbehere or whoever you are as far as your pecking order on the organizational chart. You've got to play on a night-to-night basis. And if you don't, you're letting your teammates down, and all the teammates understand that you're getting away with it. I'm not saying Ghost is getting away with it. I'm just using as an example that it's a team sport. Everybody has to come to play, and Ghost is going through his healthy scratch tonight.
Looks like Shayne Gostisbehere out then, Andrew McDonald in. So how does that shuffle the defense in your mind, Coatesy, if Andrew McDonald steps into the lineup?
Well, I won't know that for about another hour, but I would imagine if he doesn't want to change anything, he'd just probably move in, put McDonald with Gostisbehere, and that way he doesn't have to upset the other two defense pairings.
And then the other question would be goaltender. I know the other night that Steve Mason made a lot of great saves in the shootout, and yet the Flyers, the trend, more than even the goaltender, I guess, is that they keep losing these leads. What can they do to correct that and finish games?
Well, that was a horrible goal. The goal that was scored to tie the hockey game with a minute and a half to go, you can't have that happen. You just can't have that happen. I mean, Kyle Turris is coming to the outside. The defenseman has done a good job of taking him to the outside. That way he can't cut in front of Mason to make a play. So now you've got Turris as a right-hand shot swinging around to the backside. And so it's actually harder because he could come on the backhand and be a little bit closer to the net. But now he's going to be on his forehand, so he's got to come all the way around. And Mason was just late. And he's playing so technical that he said that he was 6 inches off. Well, You can't be 6 inches off with a minute and a half to go. And you've got to be able to push off that post to get pipe to pipe. And he didn't look like it was going very quickly when he did it.
Hey, Coachy, do you think this stretch for Mason is his shot? Like, hey, I'm getting 4 weeks, 5, 6 weeks here. I got 6 weeks to prove that I'm the guy.
I truly believe he does, and I truly believe he did. I thought it was going to be the perfect time for him. I thought he was right on schedule the other night against the Ottawa Senators. It was going along beautifully, and then all of a sudden that goal. I truly believe that Mason will be a stronger player because he doesn't have, he's the kind of guy that's always been brought up as a number one, and there's goaltenders like that. So if he doesn't have any competition and he's got no heat, then he can go out and he can be himself and feel pretty good about himself. And a lot of players are like that too. So I thought it was perfect. It was right on schedule, and all of a sudden he let that goal in. So hopefully we see more of it tonight.
Steve Coates with us, Flyers radio analyst. It's the Winnipeg Jets at the Flyers tonight. And Coatesy, tell us about Winnipeg a little bit. I know they certainly have a guy on their top line. He leads the league in scoring, and they have some dangerous weapons on the top line. Tell us a little bit about the Jets.
Well, the two guys to watch, right now they got 6 regulars out due to injury. So they're basically relying on Sheffley, who's a centerman that was drafted the same year, Couturier in the first round, and their number 1 pick last year, Patrick Lane. He leads the league right now in goals, and Shifley's second with 10. Lane's got 12, and Shifley leads the league in scoring. So obviously those two guys are the guys they're going to really have to pay attention to, and it'll be interesting to see what the line combinations are to face and take on that number 1 line.
And Lane has that killer shot. Is it killer or is it accurate? I mean, is it hard? Is it Ally Afraidy or is it just accurate?
They said it's Ovechkin-like, which means that it's very heavy. Very, very heavy. Yeah.
Coachy, you mentioned Sean Couturier in that same draft. It seems that that second line is kind of settling in together. He's kind of it looks like they're finally letting him kind of be a little bit more involved offensively than he has been, in the past.
Yeah, I think he's been given the opportunity to play with 2 outstanding wingers. I mean, is it hard to play with 2 guys playing their off wing? I don't really think in this game now, because there's so many different variations as far as swinging off the board, swinging in the neutral zone, doing all the things in the offensive zone where they're moving around all over the place. Or actually, we were so north-south it was scary back in the day. So for Voracek as a left-hand shot playing the right wing, and for Konechny playing the right wing or the left wing as a right-hand shot, it's a very fascinating grouping. And with Couturier, he's got to learn. The one thing I will say about Sean is that he's got to learn to be able to dish that puck, because he's got 2 guys that absolutely can fly. And if they can get into a rhythm where they can break up 3-on-2 and they can use their advantages of a line rush, then he's going to be a real solid guy there, because he can pass the puck very well.
Coatesy with us on 97.3 ESPN FM, Flyers analyst Steve Coates. And I watched a little bit last night, Coatesy, Penguins and Capitals on the Wednesday night rivalry night. One of the words I heard your good friend Doc Emmerich say was, he said, along the lines of something of Capitals poking and prodding, trying to find their way. Is that what the game is just poking and prodding and everybody afraid that they're going to make a mistake?
That's an interesting comment. I would say that I call that being technical. Would that follow in the same play that what you took at, where they're very technical to start the game, trying to understand what each one wants to do, who's going to draw the first move, what you're going to do? Is that what you're kind of getting at?
Yeah, pretty much. And is that bad for the game overall? I mean, has it become too technical?
That's another hour show. See, when you have video, and you have instant replay, and you have analytics, you have so many inputs into the quality of game right now. That is what the result is, what you saw. Players now understand where they have to be. If the puck's over here, you got to be here. If it's over there, you got to be You got to support the puck all the time. You don't want to be out of place. The analytics tells you the numbers of puck possession. In other words, we used to throw it in. We don't throw it in as much anymore because that's not part of the analytics. You've got to have puck possession. Have we got the puck more than they have? Do we cross the blue line with the puck more than they do? That tells you after time, and there's all sorts of numbers that actually you probably have to go to school for a couple of years to understand all the different numbers that go into it, but that's why you end up with a technical type game. I think that if you watch a lot of the games, it's when they begin, you'll see a lot of them just kind of line rushes, a lot of stuff happening in the neutral zone, and very technical. And it's about playing position and about playing the game, and we don't play with reckless abandon anymore.
Steve Coates, Flyers radio analyst, Flyers and Winnipeg tonight on 104.1 FM. And, of course, the Flyers back home tonight. So those of you going to the game, check that out live in person. Coatesy and Saunders on the radio down here. Coatesy, I know you'll have crabs with me, pal.
He'll watch you.
When are we going for seafood?
Take care, buddy.
You got it, guys.